You wake up, and within 30 seconds the day already owns you, the phone, the noise, the list of things other people need from you. What if the first 7 minutes of your morning could change the entire shape of the day? Not with motivation, but with philosophy that has survived 2,000 years. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, think about the privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." In this video, you are going to go deep into Stoic philosophy and discover the 7 things you must do each morning to build a routine that leads to a more meaningful, fuller life. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, had practical wisdom about how to face every single day with courage, acceptance, and gratitude. And you are about to put it to work. Let's start with the first habit, the one that resets your sense of scale before the chaos of the day gets a chance to shrink you. Habit 1. Every morning before the world makes its noise, take a moment to sit with one foundational Stoic truth. Nothing lasts. Find a quiet corner, settle your posture, alert. Not collapsed, close your eyes and let your mind expand outward into the scale of the universe. Imagine stars being born and dying, galaxies turning in slow arcs over billions of years. Then bring the picture down. The Earth, a pale point in all of that. Think about the civilizations that rose, filled the world with noise, and are now silent. The mountains that outlasted all of them, the rivers that kept moving regardless. Now bring the frame down further. Your life, one brief flicker in that scale. This is not meant to make you feel small, it is meant to make you feel awake. When you truly understand how fast your time moves, you stop wasting it on trivial conflicts and distractions. You start protecting what actually matters. Seneca said it plainly. Life is long if you know how to use it. This visualization is how you remind yourself every morning that you do know, and that today is the proof. This practice is not about confronting mortality with fear. It is about embracing the present with love, reverence, and action. And once you are anchored in that scale, Habit 2 hands you a page. The same unfiltered page Marcus Aurelius filled every morning, and what he wrote on it was never meant for us. Habit 2. The daily journal. Not as a place to log events, but as an intimate conversation with yourself, unfiltered, raw, no audience. The Stoics treated writing as an act of introspection, and sometimes catharsis. Your journal is where your thoughts come to breathe before you have edited them. Every morning, pick up whatever you write in a simple notebook, a digital document, and begin with whatever is already in your head. Last night's dream, a worry, a memory. That first unguarded download clears the clutter the way you'd clear branches off a path before walking it. You cannot think clearly through a tangle. Then shift your focus to gratitude. Obsessing over what you lack corrodes the day before it starts. Instead, name 3 things for which you feel genuine gratitude right now. Not vague thankfulness, specific things. The fact that someone smiled at you yesterday, the cup of coffee that is actually hot, the body that carried you through last week. After gratitude, move into the self-reflection the Stoics staked everything on, the questions you ask yourself about yesterday, and the name they gave that practice. Ask yourself, am I living in line with my values? Did I act from impulse instead of reason yesterday? Where can I do better today? This is not self-punishment, it is self-knowledge. The Stoics called it the examined life. Marcus Aurelius's meditations began as exactly this. A private journal, written for no one, in which he held himself accountable to the principles he believed in. Finally, close the entry with a single intention for the day, a commitment anchored in Stoic virtue. Wisdom, courage, justice, or self-discipline. Your journal is a mirror, a tool, a mentor. Write in it badly at first. What matters is that you keep showing up to the page. Which brings us to the third habit. And this one is where most people get the Stoic approach exactly backwards, confusing goals with something far more powerful. Habit 3. Goals and intentions both point forward, but they do very different work. A goal says, I want to lose 10 kilos. An intention says, today I will make conscious choices about what I eat. Goals are fixed on outcomes that are partly outside your control. Intentions are fixed on behavior, which is entirely inside your control. That difference is the whole Stoic insight. The Stoics did not chase results. They set daily intentions rooted in virtue, how they would act, how they would respond, what kind of person they would be in the next 12 hours. So instead of, I want to be braver, your intention becomes, today I will face the uncomfortable conversation I have been avoiding, and I will treat the other person with justice. Each morning before the demands of the day arrive, take 2 minutes to write your intention. Focus on your thoughts, your actions, your reactions, the only territory you actually govern. This is how you align with the Stoic philosophy of living with virtue, without excessive attachment to outcomes you cannot control. And the fourth habit asks the opposite of every modern morning routine. It asks you to go looking, on purpose, for the thing you least want to feel. Habit 4. Embrace discomfort. Not because the Stoics enjoyed suffering, but because they understood that constant comfort quietly destroys your ability to handle anything that goes wrong. When you spend your mornings only ever doing what feels easy, you train yourself to flinch at difficulty. The Stoics train the opposite reflex. You do not need to start with something dramatic. A cold shower, a run when you do not feel like it, sitting with a silence that makes you restless. Small but real. These small acts of chosen discomfort remind you of something essential. You can endure more than comfort has led you to believe. That reminder compounds over weeks and months. Bigger challenges, a difficult conversation, speaking in front of people, sitting with a conflict instead of running from it, become less terrifying when you have been training daily. The Stoics believed that mastering your response to discomfort was the path to calm in any situation. Not serenity despite the storm, but serenity because of the training. Think of it the way an athlete thinks of preseason. The work is harder than the game, deliberately, so the game never breaks you. Every morning ask yourself, what one small discomfort can I choose today to strengthen my resilience? That question, asked honestly, is already the practice beginning. And the fifth habit is where Stoic philosophy meets an older Eastern tradition, Greece and Buddhism, converging on one identical instruction about where life actually happens. Habit 5. Mindfulness and meditation. Stoicism began in ancient Greece. Meditation is tied to Buddhism, and both converge on one point. The present moment is where life actually happens. The Stoics understood that most of our suffering comes not from what is happening, but from replaying the past or dreading the future. The practice of full presence is the antidote, and this does not require a meditation cushion or an empty mind. It simply means becoming aware of your thoughts, your emotions, your physical sensations, without judging them. In the morning, find a quiet place and give yourself 5 minutes. Sit, close your eyes and place your attention on your breath. Feel the air entering. Feel it leaving. When your mind pulls toward yesterday's argument or tomorrow's meeting, and it will, you simply notice it and return to the breath. Not the stillness, the return. And after those 5 minutes, there is one specific Stoic idea to hold. You can move into a brief meditation on the impermanence of things, or on keeping your footing in adversity. This daily practice reduces anxiety, sharpens self-discipline, and raises your self-awareness. The Stoics believed regular reflection was essential to the pursuit of virtue. Setting a calm tone in the morning means your later decisions come from a steadier place. You respond rather than react. That is the whole Stoic project. And the sixth habit is the one that puts a book in your hands every single morning. One paragraph of Marcus Aurelius, read in a way most readers never try. Habit 6. Revisit the Stoic teachings daily. Not once, not when you feel like it, every single morning. This is how wisdom moves from the page into your behavior. There are several ways to do this, and the right one is whichever you will actually keep. The first is reading. Pick up Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, or Seneca and read one short passage slowly. Do not race through it. Read one paragraph, set the book down, and sit with it. Ask yourself, where does this show up in my life right now? What would change if I applied it today? The second form is the Stoic journal, slightly different from the morning journal in Habit 2. Here you record how Stoic principles have actually played out in your real situations this week. Where did you hold your ground? Where did you give in to impulse? Where did a principle you had read actually steady you when things got hard? This is evidence gathering, not philosophy class. And there are two more forms. For the mornings you will not sit down with a book. The third form is meditation on a specific principle, acceptance of what you cannot change, the search for virtue, the value of self-discipline, held in mind for a few deliberate minutes. And if reading in the morning does not suit you, audiobooks and podcasts on Stoic philosophy give you the same nourishment while you are making breakfast. The point is this: Stoic philosophy is not intellectual decoration. It is a practical system, and it only works if you keep returning to it the way a craftsman returns to sharpening the tool. Remember, the Stoics insisted that reading is the beginning, not the destination. The real transformation comes from living what you have read, action, not admiration. It is not the passage that changes you. It is the decision you make at 10 in the morning. And the seventh habit is two Latin words the Stoics called a jewel. What they ask of you is not tolerance. Habit 7. Amor Fati, love of fate. Love of what happens. Not tolerance, not resigned acceptance, active love for the entirety of what life hands you, pleasant or painful. This is the most demanding of the 7 habits, and also the most liberating. It asks you to stop fighting the shape of your life and start finding the strength inside every one of its contours. This habit has 5 distinct steps, and each one builds on the last. Step 1 is radical acceptance, and it begins with a sentence about what life will not do for you. Step 1. Begin your day by reminding yourself that life will not bend to your preferences. It will bring both ease and difficulty, sometimes in the same hour. Visualize what might come today, the meeting that could go sideways, the person who might be difficult, and say to yourself, I accept everything that life will bring me today. This is not passive. It clears the resistance before the day can generate it. And step 2 goes further. It says those obstacles are not in your way at all. Step 2. Transform adversity. The second part of Amor Fati is a shift in perception. Challenges are not obstacles in your path, they are the path. Think back to something genuinely hard that you have already survived. Not just endured, grown through. The difficulty did not break you. It built something that ease never could have. Every morning, briefly reflect on one past difficulty and what it gave you. Then step 3 asks for thanks, including for the failures. Step 3. Gratitude for everything, not just the good parts. Practice genuine thanks for your relationships, the lessons inside your failures, the comforts you have, and the challenges that sharpen you. The more completely you can feel grateful for the whole of your existence, the fuller your life becomes. And step 4 moves the practice to the last thing you do before sleep. Step 4. Evening reflection. Before you sleep, revisit the day through the lens of Amor Fati. Where did you accept what you could not change? Where did you transform a difficulty into a chance to grow? Where did you practice gratitude even when it was inconvenient? This nightly review strengthens the habit in a way that morning intention alone cannot. You are closing the loop. You are building the evidence that you are someone who handles life with grace. And step 5 is about patience, because Amor Fati is not a switch you flip. Step 5. Persistence and patience. It is a practice you return to, imperfectly, every day for a long time. Do not expect mastery in the first week. You will have mornings where acceptance feels like defeat, where gratitude feels hollow, where the whole framework feels like something you read in a book. That resistance is not failure, it is the practice working. The Stoics never promised ease. They promised that whoever keeps returning becomes someone the storms cannot break. The transformation happens slowly, the way a river shapes stone. And stacked together, all 7 form a single sequence you can run tomorrow. And now you have all 7. The power is not in any single habit. It is in the routine they form when they are stacked against each morning. You begin with the vastness, that brief visualization that puts your day in its real scale. Then you open your journal. Then you set your intention for the day. Then you choose one small discomfort. Then 5 minutes of breath and presence. Then one passage of Stoic teaching. Then you wrap it all in Amor Fati, the willingness to love whatever comes. None of this requires a perfect morning. You do not need silence or an hour or a clear head. You can do these things badly at first, you should. That is what beginning looks like. Stoic philosophy is not about denying your emotions or living without passion. It is about embracing life fully, with wisdom, courage, and enough self-knowledge to steer what you can steer. There is plenty more Stoic wisdom and practical habits for a better life waiting in the other videos on this channel. But start with just one of these 7 habits tomorrow morning. 1. Let it settle for a week before you add the next. The accumulation is slow, and that is exactly why it holds. Because here is what 2,000 years of people living by these principles confirms. The questions do not change. The answers get better, one morning at a time. And tomorrow morning is where that starts with who moves first. You woke up this morning, and the day was already moving to take you. Tomorrow morning you move first. 7 habits one at a time until a Stoic morning is just what mornings are. The scale, the page, the intention, the chosen discomfort, the breath, the passage, and the love of whatever the day brings. Not a perfect routine. Just the first 7 minutes tomorrow, done badly and done anyway, that is a life turning. So pick your one habit tonight, and let tomorrow's morning belong to you instead of to the phone, the noise, and everyone else's list. If this video was useful to you, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss new videos.